Welcome back to Grassroots Media, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Pettit Market Evan Monroe Show, where we cover everything on the range with the West Greene Buffaloes. As always, I'm here with Buffaloes head coach Evan Monroe, and we've got a special guest that's going to join us today, the offensive coordinator for the West Greene Buffaloes, Clinton Haun. Coach,
howdy.
How you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing peachy.
It's good to see you back.
No.
When's the last time you've been on here talking to me?
Oh.
Pete's in?
Yeah. I don't think we don't want Hansaw's show after that.
Did we do one after?
Yeah. Got to talk about the end of his season while I was still sitting there. Like an out on a log.
Thank you for joining me, though. I mean, sometimes it's tough to find a guest.
Hey, I'm
You're always there to come through.
He'll talk with the best of them.
He's a fact checker, too.
Hey, I'm still trying to figure out how Dalton Ramsey got to be on up there announcing.
I don't have any authority over that. I don't pick and choose those. I don't know if we allow coaches to do that and pick and choose who wins the games.
I don't know.
Do you think you could do better than them, though, and have the best score? It'd be tough to beat Dalton. I don't know if anybody's mentioned it yet. I think he went 11-2 last week picking games.
Ooh.
That's pretty good.
Well, he had to pick Mary Joseph playing the rest of the nuns. It was easy picks.
Were they?
Yeah.
I don't
even know who
hear
picked.
half of them. I don't either. I turned it on like halfway through, and I was on my way up to Hancock County, so I lost connection.
Color me shocked.
Yep. Speaking of a road trip, you had a road trip this past Friday night. Traveled up to Irwin, played Unicoi County. Non-conference opponent now. Called them conference opponent last week, but you went up there to play them at Gentry Stadium. Didn't go the way you wanted. Ended up being on the losing side of that 42-8. Take us through your entire night.
Bringing up bad memories.
I know. I'm sorry.
You know, special team blunders, we didn't do special teams well. You know, we didn't produce like we needed to. You know, defense didn't play terrible. Defense, the first drive of the game, their first drive, they get it on like the 35. They're the 35 going in. And so they didn't have to go very far. And they still took 9 plays to score. So, you know, that wasn't a terrible effort from our defense. Then first play from offensive scrimmage, we throw a pick. They get it on the 15-yard line. They go score. We go 3 and out, punt. It goes to about the 35-40. They march down and score. It's 21-0. We've ran 5 plays, and you're just kind of scratching your head frustrated from that. Then we go in the second half, kind of lick at our wounds a little bit. We come back, regroup, and, you know, we started to run the ball a little bit better. We had a little more success. I think Ian Kiefer ended up with over 100 rushing yards.
13 for 103 and a touchdown, I think.
Something like that. And Ian is showing that he can handle that kind of load. And so, you know, I'm proud of his effort. You know, our offensive line played better the second half. We made some adjustments, moved a couple guys out and around. Justin Centel was a warrior for us. He blocked his butt off all night long. But we got to get the other 4 guys on board with him. So I'll let Haun take over, see what his thoughts were.
Wait. Everybody wonders why I have gray hair now. No, it was.
I ain't taking my hat off.
We just had a couple. His mental bust. Stuff we got to kind of cut out this late in the season. I probably shouldn't have called that first play. We hadn't practiced it all week. And then I'm firing my co-offensive coordinator, Mason Maxwell. I let him pick the first play every week. He's 1 for 5. He's fired. No, it is just football simple. It comes down to blocking and tackling. The team who does that the best usually one's going to win. Yeah. We didn't block very well first half, and got put behind the 8 ball, and it's hard to rebound from that.
When you're down 21-0 after 5 plays like that, too, what do you say to your team to keep them involved in the game? Because that could be pretty deflating to the point where a lot of players would want to give up on the sideline. What do you say to keep their heads in the game?
You just tell them, hey, it's a 4-quarter game. If all it takes is one break going our way, and we're right back in it. You know, they throw a pick or they drop a ball, we scoop it and score. You know, a big special teams play, big return, anything can happen in a football game. It's 48 minutes. First 5 minutes didn't go our way. The other 43 could. You know, you've got, it's a long game. You've got a lot of opportunities for a break to go your way. And so, you know, we play for the breaks. When the breaks go our way, we got to take advantage of it. You know, it's been kind of rough the past couple games. The breaks have not went our way. You know, we've shot ourselves in the foot. The other teams have played darn near perfect games. And you know, when the breaks don't go your way, it's tough. But you know, but we keep fighting. You keep playing your butt off, and eventually a break's going to come your way, and something good's going to happen. And you know, we just kind of keep preaching that to these boys. Boys, keep fighting. And you know, their effort was great. They didn't quit. They fought the whole time. I don't have to question their heart. But you know, when you look up, it's 5 minutes in the game, and you've run 5 plays, and you look up and it's 21-0. You're like, holy cow, that's tough to come back from. But you know, as coaches, the team goes how coaches do, and if we act uninterested and defeated, the team's gonna get that way. If we're like, boys, let's go get it back. We got some work to do, but let's go. Let's play for the breaks, and you know that the kids will follow us in that sense. So. You know, that it's tough. It's tough to convince a 16-year-old kid that they got to fight for 48 minutes when after 5 minutes it's as ugly as it was. But, you know, the kids have bought into what we're telling them, and they fought for us, and that's all I can ask for.
One off-topic note, too, is you look back on games like that, but then you look back years later when you can no longer play the game of football, and you wish you could have those plays back.
Yeah.
Because even though you're losing on the scoreboard, you never realize that you only have a certain amount of plays that you get to play in your high school career if you don't make it to the collegiate level, too. You mentioned that you had success running the ball, too. Ian had a 100-yard night. He had that touchdown late in the game. What kind of success did you find in the running lanes? Was it blocking up front? What started to work your way in that sense?
You know, when we started moving the ball a little bit, we kind of had pulled one of our guys and put another guy in. You know, we're young up front. We start 3 sophomores. Our last offensive line that we had was 3 sophomores and 2 seniors. And so, you know, those young guys took some lumps, but they're getting better every day. They work their butts off. You look at the beginning of the season till now, they're doing a great job. And so, you know, when we bumped Damian Sintel down to guard, and that's Justin's little brother.
Okay.
We found some running success running behind him. You know, having him pull, he's got a little more lead in his butt than the guy that was there. He's got a little mean streak about him. He's got a little nasty about him. He's a wrestler, and so he's a little plug for wrestling there for Coach Haun. You know, so he's a kid that understands leverage and has a little nasty about him to go finish somebody. And so when he goes and pops people, he does a pretty good job for us. And so he's a kid that we've kind of shuffled around a couple different spots to try to find him a home. And I think we finally found him a home there. So, you know, running behind the Centels together, they're probably 500 pounds plus. I mean, big Centel's probably 260, would you say, Haun?
Roughly.
Little Centel's probably, what, 210?
210, 220, around that range.
So that's
Close to 5.
That's close to 500 pounds run behind. If I was Doc Maddox or Ian, that's 2 butts I'm following till the cows come home. And both got a little nasty about them to go finish. So, you know, when we run behind them, we found some success. And then, you know, our backs ran hard. And, you know, end of the game, it may have been a little bit of Unicoi feeling like, hey, we've got this in the bag, we're leaning off the gas. But, you know, we never let off the gas. We had to play full 48 minutes. And that's just something we had to preach to the guys, to just keep up. So,
I mean, since I got the offensive coordinator on here, I want you to answer kind of that question too. What success were you able to find in the running game?
One, we got throw in a couple new wrinkles where their backside had to respect stuff, so it kind of kept them from flowing to the sideways running. Just something. I mean, if they don't respect it, we can come out back off the back end of it. Now, the amazing thing is, final score was 42-8. We had the ball inside the 35 4 times. Only scored once.
It's one of those things in football too that kind of gets annoying whenever you can't finish when you get past, not technically in the red zone being at 35, but just past the 50, getting that close and not being able to finish.
Yeah, there was a couple times we went for it on 4th down. Looking back, we probably should have punted and pinned them deep and tried to play the field position game. But, when you're down and we had a little bit of rhythm and it's 4th and short.
I can't blame you for going for it.
Yeah, you just
have to
roll the dice and see what happens. It's one of the things, you're either a genius or a dummy. I ended up a dummy.
We'll bring that quote back this week.
Yeah, and I ended up the dummy a couple times, but it's football. It's blocking and tackling, and that's all. We got to get better at it.
We plugged you with wrestling in there. You want me to come and do a wrestling show sometime this year?
Sure.
Okay.
You got to wear a singlet, though.
I'll be honest, I don't know a dang thing about amateur wrestling, so
You just gotta sit there
I don't know what I'm going to talk
We'll
about.
put you in a singlet and headgear, put you in front of the camera. The views will
I'll
come
just sit here
rolling
like
in.
this.
Only if you're in a singlet too.
I got a couple of them at home.
You still roll the mat out in here?
Yep.
When do you usually do that? Is it after football season usually you get rolled out?
Yeah, when football's over, I start wrestling softball up.
Like as soon as that week is over?
I take about 3 days off and we're at it.
So you really don't get a break through the coaching season?
No.
You go football, wrestling, softball. I guess you get the summers off a little bit, but you're doing stuff with football.
Well, I got football and softball during the summer, too.
It's a full-time job.
Ain't no rest for the weary.
Let's talk about Bama football while you're on here with me.
Hey, Jalen Milroe is announced starting quarterback. Roll Tide, that's about it. Ain't much to talk about this year.
Is Bama broke this year? Like, is their offense broke, or is Milroe who you need to run the offense through, but they just don't understand that?
I think Milroe's the best option.
I think it is, too. I think their offense kind of runs through.
I think Simpson needs another year. But I think Bama they function better with Milroe back there. They actually move the ball. I've never got why we even took a kid that couldn't even start at Notre Dame and said, hey, come play at Bama. You can be QB1. I don't get that.
Kind of like Tennessee in a way, too.
Yeah, it's a rough week.
I'll be honest with you. Tennessee, as much NIL money as Nico gets, and he's a freshman, he'd been starting day one.
I don't know. He's about a patchwork offensive line right now. Our center's out. The guy that plays tackle's playing center.
Y'all look like a bunch of pumpkins up there anyways.
Better that old ugly maroon.
It's crimson. Is there a difference?
Whatever it is, it's ugly.
Couple shades.
We'll go ahead and head into break, though. You got an important week this week.
Yes.
That's mainly why we brought you on here this week. You know a little bit about this rivalry, too. It's going to be South Greene. It's going to be West Greene this week. It'll be here on the range for the second year in a row. The Buffs looking to defend the milk can, so we'll go ahead and head into break and be right back in just a minute to talk about that here on Grassroots Media.
Remember those days when life was simpler and every corner held a treasure just waiting to be discovered? Pettit's Market was a place where memories were made and where stories were woven. Here you'll find more than just goods. You'll find a piece of the past wrapped in the embrace of today. Pettit's Market is where neighbors become friends, friends become family, and good food and love holds everything together. So step inside, make memories, eat good, and leave happy. Pettit's Market, the little store with a big welcome.
Pizza Inn's new Right Way Buffet is open and ready for you and your family. Now with new garlic buttery crust and stuffed crust pizza, along with salads and desserts. It's the best part of your day. The all-day, everyday buffet. Only at Pizza Inn Greenville.
Welcome back to Grassroots Media, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Pettit's Market Evan Monroe Show, where we cover everything on the range with the West Greene Buffaloes. As always, I'm joined here with Buffaloes head coach Evan Monroe and special guest this week, offensive coordinator Coach Haun. Y'all need like a show name. Is it just the Monroe and Haun Show?
Monroe and Haun Show.
That kind of rhymes. That sounds cool too.
What'd you say?
Haun and Son.
Haun and Son Show. That ain't right.
Monroe and Haun Show.
Hey, I'm the head to Tonka.
I'm double Tatanka.
Hey, that's his office during wrestling season.
No, you got to This is what's funny. He goes to the cafeteria. Some of the parents bought shirts, so he goes to one cafeteria work. He's like, "Hey, your shirts are down there in Haun's office." I turned Dawson was sitting beside me and said, "He knows who Daddy is."
I'm at Haun's desk, but come out Haun's office.
Yeah, that's one of those slip-ups that's going to haunt you. Cause
He ain't let me live it down.
Yeah, he's going to hold it against you
Oh,
for a long time.
Yeah. He still holds that fight me and Bobby had against me.
That was funny.
That we rolled down the hill against each other.
I told him we wasn't leaving until one of them fought each other.
Well, he'll roll down.
Which hill was it? It was the one up here, wasn't it?
Before they put the practice field over there, it was that hill where the trees was.
Okay, yeah.
Kind of had that little trail.
Yep.
Was up there on the top of it. And you just see two roly-polies coming down the hill.
Hey, that's about 500 pounds of man rolling down that hill.
I'm glad I was at the top of the hill, not the bottom, because I'd have got swept up in it.
Did y'all roll all the way down?
Good ways.
Pretty close.
Pretty
Wow.
close.
That's pretty good. It's a pretty good distance.
We were fighting the whole time going down too. We were.
I was gonna say it's a pretty good fall, but it's a pretty good roll. I guess.
Yeah. Well, me and Bobby, I was about 235,
He was a good solid 275.
and we was both about 6'2". That's a lot of man rolling.
That's a
down
lot
there.
of yeah.
Now I got a good one on Daniel Whitehead. We call him Bobby because he looks just like Bobby Hill.
Oh God.
We're over there. He does something and it makes me mad when we're in offensive indie drills. So I tell him to run the outline behind the baseball field and those trees. Well, I get to we're going through stuff. I get to looking. I don't see him running. Well, Bobby, he has his pot belly. Like, I mean, you look at him from behind, you're like, man, he looks like a pretty good athlete. You turn around like, he's got gut. Well, he's over there behind the light pole. I'm talking, it would look like me trying to hide behind this bottle. This belly sticking out. I could be mad at the kid because I was laughing too hard. I mean, he's just sitting there. I'm like, Bobby, come on, man. Oh, shucks, you caught me.
I mean, you can't blame me for trying though.
I mean, the only thing you saw was just the belly.
It's like that picture of Shaq where he's trying to hide behind the tree and he's speaking around. That's what it reminds me of. All you saw was gut.
Oh, that's good. Let's talk about the game this week, fellas.
All right.
You got a big game around the corner.
Yeah, it is.
It'll be the Milk Can game, second year in a row here on the range. You took last year's game. I believe the final was 16-14 in that game. Came down all the way to the very last moments. It was a heck of a fourth quarter. Got the Rebels coming in this year. Brand new teams clashing against each other on the gridiron Friday night. What do you expect?
You know, they play fast. They play physical. I expect them, you know, offensively, they like to spread it out. They like to give it to the Raider kid. He's an athlete. He's what kind of makes them go. But you can't fall asleep on those guys on the outside either because they've got some speed that can beat you deep. I expect them to try to stretch us out, take some shots, get some quick scores. And so, you know, we've got a big challenge on defense this week to come in and stop that spread offense that they've went to this year. They've put a lot of points up, and so you know, that's a big challenge for us defensively. They're very similar to us up front. They run either a 3-4, kind of walk those outside linebackers up, or they'll look like a split 4 sometimes. They'll be a 4-3. They can change it around. They're very multiple in their approach of how they do things. I think, you know, the defensive coordinator was my head coach for a long time. He's my head coach for 4 years. This was one I want. kind of get after it a little bit and see if we can take this one to them.
You're getting pretty good at these interviews. You're answering my questions that I usually ask going along. I don't even have to ask you what formations are going to come out in. You already know.
Hey, scout report.
But I know you've been intertwined with this game for a long time.
Yeah.
You've been intertwined with this game for a long time, too. How much does a milk can game mean to both of you boys?
I'll defer that question to my offensive coordinator first.
Well, I'll put it this way. As much as I hated losing to East High in high school, I hate losing to South Greene that much worse. It leaves a bad taste in your mouth for 364 days. It's one game. It's always fun winning that game. It sucks when you lose it. It's just one of those. You're either joyous or you're heartbroken after it.
There's one person we need to talk about when it comes to the South Greene-West Greene rivalry. I think we need to get Adrian Salzman on here to talk about that.
Well, boys, they've been playing for a pretty long time. I think the Rebels have got it by it's about 30-something to like 19 now. I don't know. I have to go back and look. My boy, hey, did you see my baseball field over there? It looks pretty good, don't it?
When's the last time you mowed it?
I think I done it yesterday. I came in here at midnight and nobody saw me.
Be done there in fourth period. During his planning time.
Can't get that out. It's on the down low.
How many milk can
You get
games?
me in trouble when I have first period planning next semester.
How many milk can games have you been a part of now?
This will be 17.
17.
This will be 17.
Coach for all of them.
Yeah. I didn't play up here, so I had to coach.
Yeah, that's true. So you hate losing to South Greene more than your rival in high school?
Mm-hmm. Just leaves a bad taste in your mouth. That's like I was telling Evan earlier. I said, even the games we win, I touch the milk can after that. I don't touch it again until we win it again. It's bad juju.
It makes those days sweeter, though, if you only touch it once a year. Usually, you touch it a little bit afterwards. You got to go in there, say hi to it, tap it, pat it on the top. Good to have you here.
It's just that night.
Just that night.
So no.
Same with you, just that night.
Yeah.
And just keep it in the front office. At least you get to look at it, though.
Yeah.
It's not stored away or anything.
No.
How many milk can games is this for you now?
See, 4 as a coach, or 4 as a player. I spotted for Scotty for 3 years, so that's 7. This will be my 8th one.
8th year?
So, every time that, whether it don't matter where it's at, it don't matter if it's here, if it's at South Greene. This everywhere in this county wants to come to the milk can game. If one of the other schools is off, you better believe that half their fan base is going to be at the milk can game. Most people know now it's going to be a pretty competitive game. Especially after the thriller we had last year,
Mm-hmm.
that was a heck of a ball game to be a part of. I don't know if I love beating them more or if I hate losing to them more, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
As a player, I went 2-2 against them. First time we beat them at Rebel Hill my junior year. That was one of those moments that was huge. It was one of my favorite nights as a player. We got the bus stuck at South Greene. We had to borrow a bus from South Greene to get back because it got stuck in the mud.
Where at?
Back there wherever they parked the bus behind the field house, it got kind of stuck.
Okay.
And we had to borrow a bus from them, or did we get it out? Was that the game we borrowed a bus?
Yeah, we had to borrow a bus to get it out.
Yeah. So we borrowed a bus to get back, and that, just that night, that bus ride back is one of my favorite high school football memories. The older guys that played their tails off, we played their butts off. But anytime you can beat that bunch is a good time. Like Haun said, it's one of those games. If you win it, there's not a better feeling in the world. You lose it, breaks your heart. And so I expect it to be a great game. You know, it's not a game that you have to get your boys fired up to play in.
Mm-hmm.
It's an easy game for them to be motivated for. It's a game that the history of that game is permanent.
Speaks for itself.
Yes.
You look at the milk can, you see the game has a trophy, you automatically understand the game means something.
Yeah. You know, some of these younger guys, with us doing some consolidation the past few years and that middle school's becoming one, you know, even the middle school played for a small one.
Mm-hmm.
And so they kind of understood a little bit, hey, this is an important game. So these young guys that are doing our Scout O, Scout D and stuff, they kind of brought it to a new level today a little bit, some of them. And, you know, they give us a pretty good look. And so, man, I'm excited for Friday.
It's a conference game now, too.
Yes, it is.
So that puts a little more emphasis on the game, knowing that it has regional complications,
Yes,
too,
it does.
and playoff implications. So that goes without saying, too, with it being the milk can game. I don't think you really have to mention those conference and regional implications, because I think everybody understands automatically that it's a milk can game, so you don't even have to worry about getting their full effort in that game.
No. I think the boys are locked in and focused. We didn't have to say a lot at practice today. They went out and executed. They practiced hard. We had a great practice today. Didn't have any mental mistakes. And so, you know, when we're clicking on all cylinders, I think we're all right. It's when we have mental bust here and there that we spit and sputter. And so for us to be locked in like we are already, I think it'll be a pretty good ball game for us.
I saw you out there at practice today. You almost got rolled over.
Oh, I did. I was coaching up the scout team defensive line and starting tackle, took the deep tackle and drove him. And luckily, I'm quick on my feet a little bit.
Ran the option. Big box.
Because if I don't get out of the way, I'm hurting. Because he come about hit me right in the side of the knee. I'd have been Nick Chubbed. It'd have been bad.
Speaking of that injury, man, it sucks if you have him on fantasy.
That's all right.
You have him on fantasy?
No.
Oh.
That's why I said it's all right.
Do you have him on fantasy?
Do I look like I'm going to have Nick Chubb on fantasy?
Well, why wouldn't you?
I scored 189 points this past week. I don't have Nick Chubb on fantasy.
Okay, who do you have then?
Pretty much the entire Vikings offense.
Well, you probably don't have
I got
that running
Kirk
back.
Cousins.
He had a good game.
I got Gibbs. Brian Robinson Jr., Justin Jefferson, Devontae Smith, T.J. Hawkinson.
You didn't say it right. Hawkinson.
There you go, Hockaloogie, yeah.
I got Jake Ellis as my kicker, and the 49ers as my defense.
He didn't play this
Oh,
Rams.
and I have Alvin Kamara on
Suspended
the
at
bench.
the moment, okay.
Hey, all I know is I'm thankful for the Steelers defense playing lights out, because I was down about 7-8 points last night, and the Steelers come in, scored me 17, put me ahead by 10 to win the game. I was stoked.
I'd say so. That happened last week with the Cowboys defense, too.
Hey.
I'm sure whoever had the Cowboys on Sunday night was pretty happy.
One of my other
How about them Cowboys?
Oh, yeah, you're a fan, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's what's wrong with him.
Feels like 95.
It's hitting the Alan Tolliver show, but we have Gatorade on here today. We've got lemon lime. You Gatorade school?
Yes, we are.
Gatorade school? Well, we did have Gatorade. We've got one Gatorade now. Lemon lime.
Close. We're getting down low.
Is it yellow or green?
It's orange.
I mean, I've always called yellow, but I've heard people call it green. And
I think it's the same color as a tennis ball.
what color is a tennis ball?
It's a neon yellow.
What are you thinking?
It's a Sharpie color.
But what color is Sharpie?
Yaller.
Okay,
It's
is
one of
it-
them yaller neon
I don't know. I
Sharpies.
feel like a tennis ball is green.
Green.
But then is that green or is that yellow? It looks yellow. But tennis balls look green. But some
What
tennis balls look
matches
yellow.
have you been to? Are you going back there to the Dollar General, back there where the dog toys are, where it's green and purple,
Nope.
and thinking that's a tennis ball?
Nope. The pin tennis balls. PENN.
That's a good brand.
Now you talking about Penn State?
No.
Joe Paterno?
No, whoa. Stop the combo there.
Joe Pa?
No.
What is this? Franklin up there now?
Yeah.
James Franklin.
Yeah, James Franklin. I liked it when he was at Vanderbilt. Anchor down!
I like that he gets in goal line situations. He runs a T formation, throwing it back old school. And then, I saw him one game, he lined up in T formation.
That's only because he's got Windows 95. He can't find anything else.
And then they shifted out the empty out of it. And I was like, that's wild. Because, the defense subs into that. Mm-hmm. They're looking for their bigger boys up front. And they got all their big boys, and now they've got, busting the empty. They're spread. That's you can find a matchup somewhere in there.
Well, they got them big boys on the field. They got their athletes out there.
Ain't nothing wrong being big and athletic.
You put a receiver or right tackle and tell him to pass block, you see what happens. You tell him to reach and run, you tell him see what happens. Them 6'5", 310-pound guys are athletes.
They are.
Them other guys are just skill players.
Bunch of sissies.
Mm-hmm.
End of the interview, though. Same question every single week. I'm going to give you 6 keys this week.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to give you 3, and I'm going to give you 3.
You can't steal mine.
You want to go one at a time?
All right.
Or do you want to go first? That way he has to come up with his 3 so he can't steal one of yours.
We'll go one at a time.
I'll let you know. You get all 3.
All right. First one.
You get them all.
We're going to score more points than the other team. I'm going to change the order up. That's the key to the game. We'll score more points.
Well, if you score
Second
more
one.
points, you win.
Second one. We got to control the clock. Run the ball, control the clock, win the time of possession, drive down the field, wear the defense down a little bit. Third one, win the turnover battle. If we can win the turnover battle, I think we'll be all right. Take care of the ball. Wait for a break to come our way. Break comes. When the break comes, make advantage of the opportunity and go score.
My first one, we have to have a sense of nastiness in between the whistles.
Okay.
I like it.
We have to have a great attitude throughout the whole game. And we got to have a great effort.
All right. There we go. 3 keys. I think it goes without saying that's our game of the week this week.
I figured.
I think everybody figured it had to be. I mean, it's probably the game that has the most eyes on it each year for each team. It's a more important game this year, as we mentioned, with regional implications. It'll be here at the range, or I guess here on the range at 7:30 on Friday night. It'll be South Greene. It'll be West Greene, the Rebels and the Buffs playing here at West Greene High School in Mossheim. That's all we got this week. Coach, thank you. Coach, thank you for joining us this week. Absolutely. Go Horns. Thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Pettit's Market Evan Monroe Show featuring Coach Haun. I guess the Monroe and Haun Show?
Monroe and Haun Show.
The Monroe and Haun Show. There we go.
Remember, that's my office.
Look forward to seeing y'all next time here on Grassroots Media.
Go Buffs.